Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Before we get into today's show, if you are watching for the first time, please make sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, we are now only 2 subscribers away from 41,400. So please go and do that. I'm live every single day with all of the latest news, talk, conversation around the club we all love. And as always, I like to start my shows off with a little bit of interaction. I like to get you guys' thoughts on what is going on at this football club. And the question for you this morning is this: how do you feel about Garnacho leaving Manchester United for £40 million? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you be happy with that? Do you think he should be valued at more? Let me know. Very interested to see what you guys all have to say. We are going to start the show off by talking about that exact topic. And if you're watching the video live, you will be able to get involved in the live poll. So the question will be simple. It will be, should United sell Garnacho for 40 million? Again, if you're watching this back on repeat, you won't be able to get involved in the poll because it's exclusively for the live shows. I'm live every single morning at around 7 a.m. UK time. So if you do want to get involved in the live shows, we have an amazing community. Come and join us at 7 a.m. every single morning. So 40 million for Garnacho. Where's this story coming from? It's being widely reported that apparently Napoli are in talks with Manchester United over a £40 million deal for Garnacho. And I'm just going to say this from the off before I really go into detail on this potential deal. How is it that we valued him at 60 million 3 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever it was, right? At the end of January, there was talk of him leaving to Napoli for £60 million. You flash forward till June, 1st of June, right? 3-4 months later, and he's suddenly only worth 40 million apparently. And just to be clear, Manchester United are starting the bidding at 40, which means that Napoli might turn around and say, oh, we'll give you 30. You know, so it's not a 100% guarantee that we're going to get 40 million here. It's Manchester United is saying, we value him at 40 million. That's how much we would like. And Napoli are realistically going to say, oh, we'll give you 20. And then they'll slowly work their way up, maybe to closer to 40. But I just think it's completely baffling that a player that literally 4 months ago was touted as one of the most exciting players in our team, 12 months ago, he was unsellable. And now we fast forward a year later, most of the fan base want him out, and he's worth 40 million, maybe not even. I mean, it's just laughable, isn't it? But would I sell Garnacho anyway? I probably would, to be honest. I don't know. I think he's a bit of a one-trick pony. I think that PSG performance in the Champions League showed what you need to compete in modern football, if that makes sense. PSG had, in theory, on paper, the greatest attack of all time. Maybe not of all time, that's an exaggeration. They had Messi, Neymar and Mbappe all at the same time, right? 3 world-class players, and they won nothing of any real significance. They get rid of those players, and they bring in hard-working, versatile players who are willing to defend, they're willing to run for every ball, and they've just won a Champions League. Whereas the thing with Garnacho, he kind of reminds me of like a Messi, a Neymar, an Mbappe, not in relation to talent, but in relation to the stubbornness. You know, Messi didn't used to defend, Mbappe wouldn't track back, Neymar wouldn't track back, and they won nothing. And I feel like it's kind of similar with Garnacho. I think he's talented, don't get me wrong, but he's not talented enough that he can justify not tracking back, not working. And this isn't a dig at him at all. I just think it's not in his game. And for whatever reason, he's just not willing to change his game. So for that, I would definitely sell him. I think 40 million. I probably would take 40 million at this point. I wouldn't be happy with it, but I would probably take it. It would be 100% profit, remember, because he has come through the youth academy, and we need the money. It's as simple as that. I don't think he suits Ruben Amorim's system. There is obviously the question about how long Ruben Amorim will even last as the Man United manager. I back him 100%, but you know, if we start the season badly, what happens then? You know, and if you decide to sell Garnacho, you sell Rashford, you sell Sancho, you sell all of your wide players. What happens if you decide to sack Ruben Amorim and then you don't have any wingers? You know, Anthony will be gone, Sancho will be gone, Rashford will be gone, Garnacho will be gone. So there is a little bit more to this conversation than should we sell Garnacho or not? Because if you think about it, right, if Ruben Amorim doesn't last as the Man United manager and we go back to a 4-3-3, we're going to need players like Rashford, players like Anthony, players like Garnacho, because we won't have any wide players. At the moment, if Garnacho goes, the only wide players we'll have is Ahmad, and that's it, I think. Do we have any other wingers? I don't think we have any other wingers at all, do we? It's literally just Ahmad. Antony's going to go, Rashford's going to go, Sancho's going. If Garnacho goes as well, the only wide player we'll have is Ahmad, realistically. But obviously the point I'm making is we don't need wide players in Ruben Amorim's team, really, because we need central attacking midfielders, because he doesn't play left wingers and right wingers. He plays central attacking midfielders. So we don't really need Garnacho. But the point I'm making is, if in 6 months we say, this isn't working, Ruben, please, goodbye, what do we do then? Do we employ another manager who plays a back three? Or do we say, you know what, let's go back to a back four? It's very, very risky what Ineos are doing here, you know? Because, yes, we should be selling the likes of Rashford. Yes, we should be selling the likes of Garnacho and Antony and Sancho. But they need to have a long-term plan here. And if the season starts badly, they need to back Ruben Amorim and stick with him. Because otherwise, it's going to be even worse. You'll go from bringing in Ruben Amorim mid-season and expecting him to work miracles with a squad that doesn't suit his setup, right? And then if you sack him, you'd be repeating the same process, but in reverse. Does that make sense? Because let's just say, for example, right? We bring Ruben Amorim last season. We don't have any players that suit his system. We don't have enough central attacking midfielders for his system. We've got loads of wide players and it doesn't work. It didn't work, did it, so far? And then what happens now if next season they decide they want to get rid of him? Who do they bring in? I mean, God forbid, let's just say for argument's sake, Gareth Southgate comes in as the Manchester United manager. I'm just trying to remember, did Gareth Southgate play back three for England? I don't know. But the point I'm making is they have to be 100% set on Ruben Amorim, because this summer it looks like we're going to sell all of our wide players, which is fine if Ruben Amorim's going to be the manager for the next 3 to 5 years or longer, because we don't need wide players. We need wing backs. And Garnacho doesn't work as a wing back. Rashford doesn't. Antony doesn't. And neither does Sancho. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. Right, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Everyone who's just joined the video, if you can do me a small favour, please make sure to drop a like on the video. There's over 300 people watching live right now, and we only have 50 likes. Please go and do that right now. And if you are watching for the first time, please do subscribe. As I said at the beginning of the video, we are literally just about to hit 41,400. So please subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you have your say on Garnacho. Let's have a little look at the poll so far. So, at the moment, in the live chat, we have a poll running. The question was, should Manchester United sell Garnacho for £40 million? 60% of people watching live today have said yes, and 40% have said no. We've had over 200 people vote in this poll. Interesting. I personally would sell him. I think 40 million is a bit of a joke, but to summarise that part of the show, we need money. I think 40 million would go a long way in this window, and we need to rebuild. So, yes, I would sell him. Would I be happy with 40 million? Probably not entirely, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me with Manchester United. As I said a couple of minutes ago, you have a player who 6 months ago was valued at 60 million. Last summer, he was probably valued at 80 million. Fast forward to a year, he's now worth 40 million. We've literally made a player's value decrease by 100% in the space of 12 months. And only Manchester United can do that. No other team seems to do these kind of crazy deals. But there we are. We are where we are. If it wasn't 100% profit, I think I'd be less interested in this deal. I'd be a little bit more negative about it. But because it is 100% profit, because he has come through the youth academy, I think it is probably worth exploring. Right, we're going to talk about Sancho. Now, the Sancho story doesn't look particularly good. Have a little sip of your water and brace yourselves for this. So this is coming out from Fabrizio Romano this morning. He is reporting that Chelsea are in talks with Sancho's agent over contract terms, but no salary agreement has been reached yet. Apparently, a final decision will be made in the next few days. The outcome is expected very soon. Fabrizio says if no agreement is reached, he will return to United, and Manchester United will be given £5 million in compensation. So effectively what's happened here is, right, Jadon Sancho at Manchester United is believed to earn around £350,000 a week. That's if we're in the Champions League. I think it's about 250 if we're not. So 250 to 350 grand a week, which is ridiculous, let's be honest. Chelsea, as much as we disrespect Chelsea and say that they've spent too much money and they don't know what they're doing, their wage bill is actually not that bad. So Chelsea's current highest earner is Reece James on 250 grand a week. And then below that, most of the players are on around 100. So like, for example, Cole Palmer, one of their best players, is on 130 grand a week. Now, to flip this over to Jadon Sancho, Sancho's paid 350 grand a week at Manchester United. So he gets 220 grand a week more than what Cole Palmer is getting at Chelsea. So you can see why this issue has arose. Chelsea are effectively like, we want to keep you, Sancho, but we're not going to give you 350k a week, which I agree with. That would be stupid. I think at the most, he'd probably deserve maybe like 100 to 150 tops. There's no way on earth that he can justify 350 grand a week. Again, a ridiculous decision by Manchester United. One, to give Borussia Dortmund, what was it, 70 million, 80 million pounds? And then to also give Jadon Sancho 350k a week. I mean, whoever signed off on that deal, was it Ed Woodward, John Murtaugh, Richard Arnold? It was one of those three. Foolish. So yeah, 350 grand a week is his asking. Obviously, Chelsea aren't going to pay that. And now it's just a case of, will Chelsea and Jadon Sancho come to some sort of agreement? Now, the only problem we have here, right, which is a little bit of a concern for me, and I said this a couple of months ago, is that Jadon Sancho's contract at Manchester United expires, I think, in 2026. Let me just double check this. Jadon Sancho. I remember it was quite soon. Yeah, his contract expires in 2026. Which is a real worry. So literally a year from now, Jadon Sancho will be out of contract. Now, is there a world where Jadon Sancho says, I want 350 grand a week? Chelsea say no. He comes back to Manchester United. Manchester United are then forced to loan him out again because effectively he doesn't have a future here. He then gets a loan. We pay his 350 grand a week wages again. And then in a year's time, he leaves for free. It's a very, very dangerous path that we could be potentially going down here with Jadon Sancho. And I am worried because if he comes back to Manchester United, he 100% will be loaned out. We will 100% have to probably pay at least 50% of his 350 grand a week wages, if not more. And then in 12 months, he'll leave for free anyway. So I am a little bit worried about this one. I think we really, really need to get him out of the door this window, because if we don't get him out now, he's going to leave for free next summer. And he's going to know that as well. He's going to know that in 12 months' time, he'll have way more options on the table. He'll be able to demand way more money. He'll be able to demand a huge signing on fee. Similar to Jonathan David, right? There's all these people saying, oh, Jonathan David, you know, amazing deal, amazing deal. Apparently the finances around this Jonathan David deal, because he's a free agent, it's going to end up costing about 40 million in signing on fees, bonuses, agent fees, because there's no transfer fee as such. The players effectively will turn around and say, you know what? I want you to give me 20 million as a signing on bonus. And I fear with Jadon Sancho, it's a very similar situation, that if we don't move him out now, we're going to lose him in 12 months for free, which is a horrible, horrible thought. So, yeah. Right, let's see what else we've got in the chat here. Let's have a look at what... Welcome everyone who is in the chat this morning. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's have a look what we've got. Let's have a look. Quite a lot of people saying they would sell Garnacho. I've got a little bit of a controversial take here, right? Would anybody take Jadon Sancho back? Let's do a poll. Again, you can let me know in the comment section. So the last poll, 60% of people watching said they would sell Garnacho, 40% said they wouldn't. Let's do this. If Chelsea don't sign Sancho, would you take him back at United or loan him out? This is a little bit of a long question. So we're going to do take back at United. Loan out, but United pay his wages. All right, there we go. Get involved in this poll, everybody. Everybody who's watching, make sure you like the video. There's over 500 people watching and only 100 likes. Go and do that now, please. So the question is this. If Chelsea decide not to sign Jadon Sancho, would you take him back at United or would you loan him out? If those were the only two options, it's either you put him back in the United squad or you loan him out, but we have to pay his wages. Those are realistically the two options there. Somebody says, is there an option to take him back but not play him? I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you could send him to the reserves. I don't really see the benefit of that, though. You may as well loan him out if you're going to do that. So, right, that's the latest on Sancho. Let's talk a little bit about Bruno Fernandes then. People are saying we should sell him. But the point I'm making here is, right, this is what you need to understand. No one's going to pay Jadon Sancho's wages. Right? His wages are 250 grand a week if we're not in the Champions League, or 350 if we are in the Champions League. Okay? So, and he might just turn around to any other club and say, I want 250 a week. And no one's going to give him that. So the point I'm making is we may be forced to take him back because no one will want to sign him. We'll then have to loan him out, pay his wages, and then he leaves for free. That is a very strong possibility that can happen. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Bruno Fernandes then. Again, you can let me know your thoughts on Bruno in the comment section. So the latest this morning on Bruno Fernandes, this is coming out from Ben Jacobs, who, to be fair to Ben Jacobs, around Saudi news, I think he's quite reliable. I don't really listen to too much of Ben Jacobs otherwise, but I think around the Saudi stories, he's usually quite a reliable source. Yeah, I think some journalists are better with some certain kind of regions, and Ben Jacobs, all fairness to him, seems to be quite reliable around the Saudi League. Anyway, Ben Jacobs is effectively saying that apparently more meetings are going to take place this week. And Bruno Fernandes has gone off to the international games, by the way. So he is reporting that Al Hilal now believe that an agreement with Bruno Fernandes is close after a week of positive meetings. He says Bruno is deliberating the offer with his family, which is a key factor in what his decision will be. Al Hilal want a final answer by Friday. I mean, for me personally, the fact that Bruno Fernandes hasn't just rejected this deal outright, the fact that he's effectively, I guess, did you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, Bruno is up for this deal, guys. Clearly. He's exploring it. We can all see that, right? Bruno Fernandes is effectively saying, yes, I want to talk to you about this. I'm open to doing this deal. So for me personally, he's the captain of Manchester United. He's toying with the idea. He's saying, as long as I get enough money, I'm happy. Realistically, that's what he's saying, right? So, I don't know. I think at that point, I would probably just turn around and be like, you know what? Goodbye. Like, we need to bring this back to Manchester United. This needs to be our decision. It can't just be Bruno Fernandes has the power. Like, why? We've got a potential to be given around £100 million here for a player who arguably has been our best player for a long time. But at the same time, I don't know. I think that we will change the style of play with Bruno not in the team. I think when you watch how he plays, he doesn't stay in one position. He's constantly running around the pitch, which means that we are opened up in midfield. He gives the ball away too much. And I honestly think that overall, as a team, I think we would be better without Bruno Fernandes. And maybe that's a controversial take. Maybe you disagree with me. Yeah, I don't know. I think we would be a more balanced team without Bruno Fernandes. And I know that sounds crazy and people will say, oh, you would have been relegated if it wasn't for Bruno. I don't believe that. I honestly don't. I honestly think we would be a way more balanced team without Bruno Fernandes in the team. I don't think he's captain material either. He's talented. I think he'll go to the Saudi League. He'll have an amazing rest of his career. He turns 31 in a month or so. Still's going to be playing for Portugal in the national team. You know, he's got Joao Cancelo, who plays for Al Hilal as well. You've got loads of other quality players over in Saudi. How old is Joao Cancelo? Let's have a look. Yeah, Joao Cancelo is the same age as Bruno. Joao Cancelo was considered, the best left-back in the world, maybe, or one of the best left-backs in the world 2 or 3 years ago, right? He is playing for Al Hilal, the same side that Bruno Fernandes is supposedly moving to. If we compare the two, right, I know they play in different positions, but at the point of moving to Saudi, Joao Cancelo was still considered one of the best left-backs in the world, right? Alongside, I don't know, Nuno Mendes, Hakimi, Theo Hernandez. You know, he's a quality player. Champions League winner, Premier League winner, won it all. And he moved to Saudi, I think, last year. the same age as Bruno. So I'm you know what? I'm just hoping and praying that Bruno says yes. I'm hoping and praying that he gets his move, because realistically, he's not going to win anything at Manchester United in the next 2 years anyway. Like, what is the point in him staying? What is the point in Manchester United building a team around a 31-year-old? Because at the moment, that is what we do. Bruno Fernandes is a quality player. But if someone offers you £100 million for him, you have to take it. And the point I'm making here is, I know he's our captain. I know the stance coming out from the club is he's not for sale. But if someone offers you life-changing money, which it is, this would change Manchester United's future. And I know that's sad. And I know the question then is, how have we got ourselves in this position? How have the Glazers allowed us to fall this far? Like, I get it, right? I get all of that. And I agree with all of that wholeheartedly. But at the same time, we are where we are. We need to get ourselves out of the ditch. We are in a ditch, and we need to sort this out. So yeah, £100 million for Bruno Fernandes. I would welcome that any day of the week, 100%. So let's do a little poll on that, though. Let's do a poll. Everyone who's joining, we are 1 subscriber away from 41,400. So please go and subscribe right now if you haven't already. Let's see if we can hit that by the end of the video. Anybody who's new today, please subscribe. We are now only 1 away from 41,400. So please go and do that right now. Right, we're going to do a new poll here. So the last poll, the question was, if Chelsea don't sign Sancho, which may not happen because of his wage demands, would you take him back at United or would you loan him out? Okay. So the 2 options were either take him back at Manchester United. 29% of you said you'd do that. The other 71% of you said you would loan him out, but United would pay his wages, which is that's what's happened at Chelsea. Okay. So we're going to do one final poll. I try and make the shows as interactive as possible. Let's do this. Would you be happy with selling Bruno Fernandes for 100 million? Again, if you're not watching this video live, you can have your say in the comment section. The question is simple. Would you be happy selling Bruno for I nearly said 400 million, for 100 million? Fred, how you doing? Fred says, is the money more important than Bruno? At the moment, it's the money. 100%. Thank you very much to Bahiti, who is a new subscriber as well. I appreciate you. Yeah, I agree with you, Fred, wholeheartedly. Like I said, if we weren't in the position we are, i.e. 700 million in debt, having to beg the government for money to build a new stadium, sacking every single member of staff at Carrington, getting rid of the dinner lady, saying they can't have their lunch anymore. If we weren't in that position, maybe you turn around and say, no, Bruno's not for sale. No. But the fact of the matter is, financially, we are an absolute joke. I mean, on the football field, we're a joke as well. But financially, we are one of the worst run clubs in relation to debt, in relation to public image at the moment. We're sacking people left, right and centre. We announced that if we won the Europa League, we would have a barbecue at Carrington. I mean, could you get any more comical than that? Tottenham had a trophy parade all through North London and God knows what else. Manchester United say, if we win the Europa League tonight, guys, we're going to go down to the local Sainsbury's, we're going to buy some sausages, we're going to buy some burgers, and we're going to go and have a barbecue. I mean, come on. These are all multi-millionaires. And you were going to put on a barbecue for them. I mean, it's laughable, isn't it? And do you know what isn't laughable, right? Is that all of these normal working class people have lost their jobs. Hundreds, mate, thousands of working class people at Manchester United have been made redundant in the last 12 months. And Manchester United need to just pull their finger out and say, if we have 100 million on the table, we need to take this. We're in a mess and we need to sort it out. So, yes, Bruno's the captain. Yes, he's done a lot for this football club. But you can't just sit around waiting. He's toying with another team. He's speaking to another employer, if you like. And Manchester United are just sat there saying, oh, don't worry, Bruno. You take your time. Let us know what you'd like to do. We'll be waiting for you. No, that's not how it should be. I mean, they're not really a rival, are they? Because they're in another league. But still, he has entertained this offer. His agent flew to Saudi. His agent flew to the other side of the world, to the Middle East, to go and negotiate terms over a contract. He clearly is interested in this deal. And at this point, if I was Manchester United, I would just turn around to him and say, Bruno, we need the money. We're in a mess. Thank you for your service. We're going to take the 100 million. Goodbye. It's as simple as that for me. And I am getting a little bit fed up with this whole, like, oh, let's wait to see what Bruno would like to do. I don't really care what Bruno would like to do at this point. He was the captain of a team that nearly got relegated. He was a captain of the team who lost a Europa League final to a team who haven't won a trophy in 17 years. You know? And I know that's not entirely on him, but he needs to go. It's as simple as that. He needs to go. He needs to be moved on. Yes, he's a quality player. Yes, he's done well for Manchester United. Yes, he's got some important goals and assists. But when there's 100 million on the table for a 31-year-old, Forever Red says it wasn't Sainsbury's. It was definitely from Aldi. Oh, God. I just honestly can't believe that they were going to do a barbecue as the Europa League trophy parade. Somebody in the chat says he lost the ball 27 times against Tottenham in the Europa League final. I mean, that's inexcusable. I'm sorry. 27 times losing the ball in a super, super important game. We have a super chat coming in from DJ Talks. Thank you very much. DJ Talks says, selling 30-year-old Bruno Fernandes for 100 million would transform our team. He's been the best and most consistent player post-Fergie. Let the man go and let's move forward. I agree with you 100%. And again, thank you for your super chat. I really do appreciate that. I agree with you fully, though. It would transform our team. This could be our Coutinho moment. Do you remember with Liverpool? Liverpool sold Coutinho to Barcelona. Was it 130, 140 million? And after that point, they rebuilt their team. They completely transformed everything. And look at Liverpool now. They've just won the Premier League. Phenomenal. Who would have thought that like 5 or 6 years ago that, or whenever it was? When did they sell Coutinho? Was it 5 or 6 years ago? Let's have a look. But this could literally be our Coutinho moment. Let's have a look. They sold him to Barcelona in... Oh, it's a bit longer. 7 years ago. For 138 million. Euros, that is. So what, about 120 million pounds? So yeah, you're completely right, my friend. This could be our moment to rebuild the team. Similar with Liverpool and Coutinho. Yeah, he's been a great player. He's been consistent. But let the man go. You're definitely right. He's not going to win anything at Manchester United. His contract's up in 2 years. Do we honestly think that within the next 2 years... Do we think in the next 2 years we're going to be competing? Honestly, put your hand on your heart and tell me. Will Manchester United be competing in the next 2 years? His contract expires in 2027. It's not going to happen. We'll be lucky to get in the Champions League next season, I think. Very lucky. That would be a successful season. If we finish in the top 5 next year, that would be successful, in my opinion. You know? I think if we finish in the top 10 next season, it would be successful. And I know that's laughable, but we nearly got relegated. We literally nearly got relegated last year. So yeah, again, thank you for thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. What else have we got? Who would we replace him with? That's a great question. I mean, obviously we've got Mason Mount, we've got Mainu, we've got Xerxes, we have got... Who else do we have? Mateus Cunha. I mean, you've got 4 players for that position already. You've got Mount, Mainu, Cunha. Who was the other one I just said? Xerxes. That's 4 players there for 2 positions. Midfield-wise, you've got Ugarte, Toby Collier. We need another really, really strong central midfielder to go in there. I think Mainu's much better further up the pitch, personally. I don't think he's very good as a CDM. So we would need to replace him with somebody. But, yeah, I can see someone in the chat saying that Mount will get injured. Yeah. Again, thank you very much, DJ Talks. Another super chat saying, I'm a regular on United View TV with Flex. Wanted to say big up and keep doing your thing. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And welcome to all the new people today. If you are new today, make sure you subscribe. I will be live throughout the whole of the transfer window. There's going to be way more videos on the channel. I was on holiday last week, if anybody was wondering where I was. So, yeah, I am back now. Again, thank you for all of your support today. Seko Kone as well. That's a good suggestion. I forgot about him. Somebody in the chat saying we should have gone for Florian Wirtz. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't going to come to Manchester United, you know? Unfortunately. Florian Wirtz wants Champions League football, and he's going to cost 100 million. Yeah, he's a good option. I don't know. I'm just thinking here. Who would I replace him with? If Mason Mount wasn't injury prone, I honestly think Mason Mount, Kone, Mainu, Xerxes, and Mateus Cunha would be enough. Honestly, I do. If Mason Mount wasn't injury prone. So I don't know who I'd replace him with at this point. I'm not sure. Let's see. Somebody in the chat says our priority position should be a number 9. I agree. A midfielder, I agree. And a goalkeeper, I agree. 100%. We need those 3 positions filled. Definitely. So I think the fact that we could potentially be raising 100 million from Bruno, 40 million from Garnacho, 30 million from Sancho, and another 40 from Rashford, plus 40 from Anthony. I mean, that's 250 million there. Plus, we have a 125 million budget as well. I'm going to do another poll, actually. One final poll before I go. It's going to be this. Let's do this. If this is an interesting one. If Bruno leaves, who should be United captain? This is a really, really interesting one, and this is going to divide opinion. So this is the final poll I'm going to do for today's show, and then I really must go. So we're going to do Martinez. Who else could it be? I'm trying to think who else it could be. So Maguire, De Ligt, Martinez. Who else could be a captain? I mean, is there any other captains in this team? I'm going to stick Dallo in there just for argument's sake. Right, there you go. Final poll of today's stream. If Bruno leaves, who should be the United captain? This is a difficult one, so have a little think about this before you vote. You've got 4 options. You've got Maguire, De Ligt, Martinez. Those are the obvious options. And then I put Dallo in there as well. He's been here a long time. He's realistically one of the only other senior players bar Casemiro, which is a little bit of a strange thing to say. It was just because you had to pick 4 options, all right? So I doubt many people will vote for Dallo. Me personally, if Lisandro Martinez wasn't injury prone, I would go with Lisandro Martinez 100%. I think he has that captain mentality, but I worry about Lisandro Martinez. I think his play style, his aggressive attributes make him injury prone. So yeah, if it wasn't for his injuries, I would definitely go with Lisandro as the captain. Then it's very close for me between Maguire and De Ligt. I think I'd probably go with De Ligt, realistically. He was the captain of Ajax at the age of 19. I also wouldn't be that unhappy if it was Maguire, But yeah, I'd probably go in this order. I'd go Martinez if he wasn't injury prone, so he's out of the question. Then I'd go De Ligt, then Maguire, and then Dallo as the last option. I can't really think of anybody else. I mean, there's Casemiro, but he's going to be gone in 12 months. You want somebody who's young and could be the captain for a while. So yeah, I was just about to say something then. I was going to say, let me throw this in the works. What's the possibility? And now this is going to blow some minds today. And this is obviously a mad hypothetical, all right? Just to end the stream. What's the possibility of Rashford coming back and becoming the captain? Imagine. It's not going to happen, but just imagine. Imagine. Somebody in the chat says, from how Ruben speaks, I feel like he would make Mason Mount the captain. That would be extremely strange. I mean, Mason Mount literally played, 5 games last season. I definitely wouldn't make Mason Mount the captain, but you never know with Manchester United. So yeah, I would go with De Ligt. I don't think... There isn't really a strong contender for me. I think De Ligt is probably the best option. I know that would get some reactions there. I was obviously trying to... Yeah, I was trying to rile you up. Imagine. Rashford comes back and he becomes the Man United captain. Wow. Well, I'm going to leave you with that thought. Go and enjoy your Mondays. Don't mull over that too much. Do not focus on Rashford becoming the captain. It's not going to happen. I was just being silly. But Tom Heaton, I think he's retiring, mate. That's mad, though, that the chat is having to... The situation is so bad in relation to senior players at Manchester United and leaders that someone in the chat is saying, I think it should be Tom Heaton, And you know what? It's not a bad option, and it's a sensible option. He's been at the club for a long time. He's a senior player, but it is pretty laughable that we're having to consider Tom Heaton as a captain. I mean, yeah. Madison, I agree. Like I said, if Lisandro Martinez wasn't injury prone, which I think he is, I would 100% have him as the Manchester United captain. 100%. Right. I hope everyone has an amazing day. There may be another stream later if we have any news. If not, I'll be back live tomorrow morning. The new showtime for the summer transfer window is going to be around 7 a.m. All right, so I'm going to be early. Hopefully you can all join me. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the videos and get in the comment section as well and have your say on the Garnacho situation, Fernandes situation, who the captain should be. There's lots of stuff for you to go and get involved in. So once this video is published, which will be in like 30 seconds, go back and click on the video, get in the comment section and leave me your thoughts. I like to read through everything. So yeah, I'll speak to you guys all later. Have an amazing day and yeah, speak soon. Bye for now.